A man fell over a cliff, and as he tumbled down, managed to grab onto a scrubby bush growing from the side of the rock. Terrified, he hung in space, his life flashing before him. In desperation, he shouted towards heaven, "Is anyone up there?" To his delight, a voice floated down. "I'm the Lord God, and I am here." The man yelled back, "What should I do?" God replied, "Let go of the branch, and with my protection, you will float harmlessly down to the beach below." The man looked down at the jagged rocks and then looked back towards heaven. He gulped and said, "Well, is anyone else up there?" There are certain times in our lives where it really is hard to trust in God. When I was little, one of the songs I remember singing was, "He's got the whole world in his hands." The word was something like this: He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. This song helps me to picture how great God is, and it helps me to trust him. Genesis tells us that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But before that, there was nothing. God created everything from nothing. Now that is someone you can count on. And isn't that what trust means? Being able to depend on something or someone with the ultimate confidence? If someone were to ask me, "Do you trust God?" I would say absolutely. If they were to ask me why, I would say, "Do you know who God is?" Nobody is as powerful as God is. Who did God have to consult to teach him the right way? Who has given God knowledge or shown him the path to understanding? The answer? Nobody. And that means that regardless of what is happening in my life, I can trust God to lead me. Not because of who I am, but because of who he is. I mean, who better to lean on when you have to make decisions in your life? Who better to ask what is right and wrong? There's no one better than the one who created it all. And that's also what's so great about being a Christian. We can lean on God and trust him with everything. Moses warned Joshua and the children of Israel in Deuteronomy 31:8, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged." The writer of Hebrews said the same thing in Hebrews 13:5. "Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. For the Lord has said, 'Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you.'" But this does not mean that there will not be difficulties. Jesus warned us in John 16:33, "In this life you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." And that means we don't have to worry about what people say to us or what they do to us, because our trust isn't in this world. Our blessings are greater than we can ever know. I recently heard a story about a little frog that was born at the bottom of a well, just a small circular well like you might see on a farm. And he and his family were so happy and content to swim and splash all day long. But as he got a bit older, he noticed a light up above. So one day, very carefully, he climbed up the side of the well. He looked over, and the first thing he saw was a lake. He was amazed. He jumped out, kept hopping, and came to an ocean. He had no words. He began to realize how limited his vision had been. He also realized that all he had was a drop in the bucket compared to what was out there for him to enjoy. Sometimes we're like this about God. We make him a tiny well in our lives and never realize that we could really enjoy a whole ocean of God's blessings. Today, we need to throw our shoulders back and trust in God, because he's for us and he's ready to lead us into victory in every area of our life. We need to stop telling God how big the mountains are in our life and tell the mountains how big God is in our life.